Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Katie.
Human babies have the same water percentage as a banana.
What? But is it the same potassium level?
No.
No, they need more bananas.
That's why you feed them bananas.
Babies only eat bananas.
You feed a newborn
That's
baby.
all they eat is bananas.
It's a boy! Get the bananas.
Quick, run!
Who are you?
Confused at the moment, but also
A
Cameron.
banana.
Okay, good job.
Use the hashtag Geeks Corner to talk to us about various other things, some of which are Disney related. Probably not bananas anymore.
Very true.
Just so bananas.
What we are going to talk about instead is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, has
Yes.
her first trailer out that came out, was it When did
It was
come out?
yesterday.
It was yesterday. So
Which
it's
was
so
Monday.
much longer.
It's been a long week.
It's Tuesday.
And,
Yep.
well, what are your first thoughts, without getting too much into the actual trailer, but what were your gut reaction thoughts on this?
Why?
Okay.
Her
We're not getting
cheekbones get
invited
cut
to
in
that
there, I'll say
opener.
that.
I'm being honest.
It's true.
It's not a negative thing. I just don't necessarily understand it.
I don't understand where we're at. So
That's-
you were why, I was where. What were you, Cameron?
What W question were you?
So,
Okay.
I'm confused.
here's the thing. This is it's not me playing devil's advocate. It's more Iger advocate.
Mistress Advocate?
It's obviously this movie is set to make enough money to make it worthwhile to Disney.
I think it's going to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
They got into
What
the
I
bully
want to
again.
know is what is the audience? Like, I want to know,
So what?
because we're not it. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Not all movies are made for everyone.
Angelina Jolie
That's,
fans.
well, yeah, and I'm an
Probably.
Angelina Jolie fan, but that's
Are
not.
you still?
I am.
Are
I
you
just
sure?
don't want to watch this movie.
I'm questioning your fandom right now.
She was great in
He's-
Beowulf, and I enjoy Beowulf,
He's
and I will
scared
stand
of the
by
prosthetic cheekbones.
That's one movie.
that. Are they prosthetic, or is that just her? Like,
It's digital.
It's
I don't know.
it's
I'm
not
making things up.
it's not real.
so
Let's go into the actual trailer now.
Yes. I like that it opens with the three good fairies. I do enjoy that.
That was fun.
It was cute.
Yes.
I liked
It was trying to connect to the original story, which I thought was interesting.
definitely.
But that's also where I started getting confused.
Agreed. Also because I haven't seen the first one and but I know the first one was when she was a baby, right? So it wasn't
partly they did that like first
was-
5 minutes
yeah.
quick progression.
Yeah. So I didn't quite understand. But then I was like, so is this supposed to be after the first, like, or after Sleeping Beauty? Like, I don't.
Or is it a time vortex where it's doing the same time period?
Oh my
with
gosh!
a
So they're
different-
stuck in the Soul Stone.
Yeah, this is when Loki took the Tesseract. and-
Yeah. This is 100%.
yeah.
They did say Loki was going to be jumping around different time periods and influencing them with his mischievous ways.
Never knowing that if the next leap is the one that will take him
Actually
home.
called Maleficent.
That is a quantum
Mischievous
leap
of
reference.
It
evil.
was totally. I got it, which was why I was. Wow,
Quantum
that.
leap reference.
Very good job.
Well done,
Thank
sir.
you so much.
I'd like to thank thank you for your support on this.
You're welcome. I don't know what to think of this movie.
I don't know either.
Like, there's nothing overtly bad about it. In fact, it looked pretty interesting. She apparently has some new secret superpowers that she can shoot
love it.
people with green smoke. And did
Yeah.
you see that?
Yeah.
She like threw
Well,
those two guys across the room with
she
green
could do
smoke.
things like that. She could do. I don't. There's the stories don't exist without conflict. I don't. The conflict
this
is going
is-
to be so contrived.
Here's
Yeah.
what I think we're gonna see, and this is because Mike says seems like the trailer is taking place with encounters between Aurora, Prince Philip, his parents, and Maleficent. And in parentheses he says, "So she's becoming evil?" ? I actually think this is the third Star Wars Episode 3. We're seeing the descent, and we'll really know if we've hit it if at the end of the movie Aurora is on a hill.
Uh-huh.
You know, if she's standing on the hill and you're below it and you look up, that's
Please do.
Aurora bored all of us.
Aurora, you're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow.
No, she has the higher ground.
Then Maleficent. Any chance I have, to Natalie Portman.
I have no clue what to think of this film.
This movie is not being made for us,
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
that's okay.
Yeah.
But it actually makes me kind of want to see it just out of sheer curiosity. at this point. Like, I'm not turned away from it. I just don't get it.
The Disneyland fireworks
Cameron
are
does
responding.
not want to see it.
No, I want to see it in the same way you can't look away from a train wreck, but that's
no.
not.
Hey, some of the best movies have been discovered
but
that way.
that's exactly my point.
Silver Streak.
is
I
that
rest my case.
The movies I never wanted to see,
Nobody's
and
seen that
I've
movie.
brought this up several
Sure.
times. The movies that you never wanted to see are because the advertisements never did them justice. I always bring this up. Fight Club was advertised as an action film.
Yeah.
It is not an action film.
No, it is not.
So there's still, and Disney has done it before, where they advertise a film poorly and then it becomes something very interesting.
Well, and they bumped it up a year for some reason, so it has to be.
For some reason.
But the best comparative I have within the Disney canon is I was not excited at all for Monsters University, which was a prequel to a film I enjoyed but did not want to see any more
It's
of.
hilarious.
Monsters University is one of my favorite Disney
I love
films.
Monsters U.
But yes, so here's to open.
Okay. Speaking of Monsters University, there was an announcement. Was that today?
That was yesterday.
Yesterday.
It's been,
It's
again,
been
a
yesterday.
long week.
It was already. Anyway, during an interview, basically it came out that Pixar currently has no sequels in the works.
Yes.
Which is fantastic because I think Pixar is at its best when it's being completely creative and out of the box, or not acknowledging that there is even a box to be in.
Yes.
And like, I think some of the best Pixar films have been the ones where, kind of like what we were just talking about, you watch all of these trailers and you're like, I have no clue what this movie's about. And then you walk in and you see a guy flying a house with balloons to South America and you're like, huh, who would have guessed? And like, that's I think a prime example. Nobody knew what we were getting into.
Oh, no.
The emotional depth that was going to be a part of this film obviously is what I'm talking about. And
Wait, we got off. Thank you.
just in
Dang it, I thought it
case,
was brave.
you always have to
Chase the wind and touch the sky, like the old men in the balloons.
Yeah.
But what do you think about no sequels? And do you think they're going to stick with it?
No,
I think they're going to do
How
more
long do you
sequels
think it's going to last?
until they get two original products that are going to make them money to do sequels on.
It's true.
I
think you probably are pretty close on that.
the reason that they were big and strong in making the no sequels announcement is because the sequels they already have lined up are going to do just fine, and they're about out of things they can profitably make sequels on anyway. So
Isn't the only sequel left Toy Story?
Frozen's not them, but
That's not them.
yeah, but point being that of the films they've made, their most successful have been the standalones, and like the recent ones, like Coco is a Pixar, right?
But
Yeah.
we could have a Ratatouille sequel.
See,
We don't need one.
I disagree, and we don't need. I think the people who were behind that one, behind Coco, they understand the value of those being contained stories.
Yep, I agree.
And they had the benefit of being just not profitable enough to turn their hand.
I agree also.
So there is a benefit to that. Ratatouille is the best Pixar film.
It's a
and
beautiful film.
it's gorgeous, and it has had things that have outlasted it in the form of restaurants, and it's brilliant.
Yeah.
But
I honestly
but it's
wouldn't mind a television short film. though.
something, but not a
like
movie.
kind of the following of them building their new restaurant
Point
or
being,
whatever.
it is.
But I agree with
Its
you.
legacy has stayed so intact because it's just been under the radar enough, and that's where Pixar has always thrived. I mean, at the point of almost dying is always when they do their best stuff, which is a tough place to be, but it's also a great creative place to be. Yeah, I think forcing themselves to original content is a benefit for the public at large.
I think pursuing original content is great. I also think pursuing new storytellers is a really good thing. Finding people who have done really good shorts, finding people who have done like Domi Shi, who was an intern and then did Bao. The fact that she's going to be directing a film at Pixar, I think, is super interesting. And I think
I can't wait to see what it is.
the more they find new creatives to tell different stories, not that Pixar in any way, shape, or form was getting stale, or that we were seeing the same type of stories, but it's always nice to see stories from a different perspective than we might not have before. So, like with Sanjay Super Team, which was something totally not seen before at Pixar. I think that I'm really excited for that aspect of telling all new stories.
I think innovation keeps things fresh,
Yeah.
and you don't get innovation by keeping everything the same.
Agreed.
And I honestly, as much as Monsters or Cars or whatever those franchise Toy Story, I do like the idea of moving off from them and leaving them where they're at. And I'm sure the next Toy Story is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of already felt like I said goodbye to that franchise with the end of Toy Story 3. Yeah, I'm going to go watch it. Probably like it a lot. But do I need it?
No.
I just hope I don't come out wishing they had fallen into the incinerator.
Oh, no.
You get to write that review.
Congratulations, you made the front row spit.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, but there could be better.
Yeah, that'd be... No, but I do think we all felt like the story was wrapped up nicely in Toy Story 3, and
Yeah.
there's the risk of when you reopen
So
something
long, pal.
beautifully wrapped, you don't want to do that again. Let's move over to Disneyland next, where they introduced the Disney Flex Passport this week. This was this week too.
Yeah, that was Thursday.
Do you want to explain this really quick for how it works, Katie?
Vroom. Okay, so here's
First off, what's the price?
$600. I don't know off the top of my head. I know
You're
it's
correct.
I know it's
$5.99.
in that ballpark.
And actually, I wrote it, but whatever.
I didn't write it.
I know, I said you did, and I was like, oh wait,
Oh,
I wrote it.
no.
But keep going, you're doing great.
But anyway, thank you. I've said 2 words.
You got the first part right.
Basically, there are still blockout dates, but for the most part, Monday through Thursday is open. And then there are days that are open to make reservations. You can make 2 reservations on the flex days per month.
Within a 30-day period.
Or within a 30-day period, not per month. I should not say. But yes, so basically if you are able to plan ahead for your trips that are outside that Monday to Thursday range, this is the passport for you. There are still some walkout dates for summer and Christmas and the works, but
That's why you get your flex days.
that's why you get your flex days.
Or your reservation days.
Yes.
So they have the good to go days, which are basically the same as a SoCal pass.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get 2 extra if you can get reservations on it, which to me is where the big question mark will lie on the success of this pass, is if you can actually get reservations for those days.
Yes.
Or is it one of those things, it's kind of like Fast Pass Plus, or is that right?
Fast Pass Plus?
Yeah, Fast Pass Plus, where you're staying up till midnight and you're trying to get things right.
And then someone's fast doesn't work.
Still
and then-
not going to Pandora. Yeah.
But I think that's part of why it's called a flex pass, is you can't be like, it's these 2 days are bust.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be able to be flexible in which 2 days that you want in your 30-day reservation period. But yeah, I think it's very interesting. I'm very interested to see who gets it, who it's going to work out for. Because
I know a few people that were looking at it, so I'll be curious to see if they buy it. I believe it goes for sale on the 21st of May, so that'd be next Tuesday. And if you're one of those, let us know and tweet at us next Tuesday and let us know what you think of it. And if you've already reserved something, we'd love to hear about it too. What do you think, Cameron, of this?
You brought up what audience this is for, and that it would have been useful for me when I was living in Northern California and occasionally did weekend trips down. If I could know that a few weeks in advance, I could reserve a couple days and then say, hey, I'm going down for this. I have difficulty seeing someone who is extremely local taking advantage of this to their detriment, and I can't see people across the country taking advantage of this. I feel like a weird, like,
Well, it depends on the time of year you visit, but yeah.
I think there's like a 30-mile minimum, 120-mile maximum window around this area in which this is kind of the sweet spot for this pass. And for those looking just to save money, because it's $600, it's $400 less than the pass
there
that
is
will
a
pretty much guarantee.
If
a
you're a
lot of these
SoCal
days.
resident, you can do monthly payments. I think you could probably get some people that live closer as well. I think it'd be very hard for the people that live not anywhere nearby, just because if you're relying on a reservation you can make within 30 days, that's hard to plan travel around if you're buying flights or whatever. And if you only get 2, and then let's say half your trip you're not available, they're not good to go dates, I think that could make it pretty challenging.
Yeah.
If you're okay going, I mean, the other part to remember with this too is what we've discovered in recent years is the days that all of these passes are open are now the busiest days of the year, whereas in the past those were the non-busy days. So it'll be interesting to see how much those reservation flex days impact the current not so busy days. So like July, the last couple of years has not been nearly as bad as previous years because everybody's been blocked out. Is that going to change that? It'll be interesting to see that.
And what Disney uses as the artificial scarcity on it. I mean, there are some days they're probably going to be planning for it to be busier, and they may only open up. And I don't think Disney is this corrupt, but 20 spots are the only spots.
Yeah.
Or not. I mean, I can't imagine them opening up 4th of July. I can't imagine them opening up Christmas week or the week before that.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like there's some dates that are always going to be full and they're just not going to touch. But
Agreed.
yeah, if you get one, we'd love to hear from you and what your experience is, and tweet at us #Geeks Corner or leave a comment somewhere, and we'd love to follow up with that and see.
I'm just shouting in the void. We'll hear it.
Yeah,
We're always staring back at it. So
just walk down Main Street hollering. Somebody will listen.
Yeah. And then they'll tell us.
it's like that dog barking chain from 101 Dalmatians, except it's cast members.
I like that.
Also barking.
That's
Also
a
barking.
great.
No
I love
words.
that
Only
idea.
barking.
Next thing we're going to talk about is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is, 3 weeks away?
Yes.
For some of us.
3 weeks away. And we needed your pass.
I was in the middle of the ocean, friends.
Uh-huh.
It's a friend of mine.
And so the thing that came out, well, there's two things that really came out in the last week since Geeks Corners. One is how you're going to make your lightsabers. And that sounds like it'll be intriguing and a lot of fun. The other thing that came out was we got a list of the menu items that will be available at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It looks like it generally will be on both coasts. This will be kind of the baseline, but they did make a comment that it could have changed, or it could change by region a little bit. So
yeah, the biggest thing is that there are 3 Jedi that you're only able to catch on the West Coast, and if you have the other version of the park on the East Coast, there are 3 other Jedi which are only available over there. So you're going to have to use your Game Boy connector cable to be able to trade those Jedi across 2 different versions of it. It's a deep cut Pokemon reference, guys. If you're not
speaking about the food of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge,
Neat.
We've got Docking Bay 7 food and cargo. We've got I don't know what you guys are doing. Oga's Cantina. We've also got the Black Spire Outpost Market, where you can get your Ronto Roaster stuff and the milk stand, which I'm sure will be very popular. And then Katsaka's Kettle menu also we've got that was posted this week. What is the place that you want to go to eat? Eat being the operative word. First, when you visit Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Which is the one?
7 thing.
There's Docking Bay 7.
Which one's the one that cooks on a pod race engine?
That's Ronto Roasters, and that is what I thought you would say.
That's the one I want.
And I actually am between that and Docking Bay 7 also. So what you said, they have the Ronto wrap, which is roasted pork and grilled sausage with peppercorn sauce and a tangy slaw wrapped in pita.
I like all those words.
Or you can get the Nuna turkey jerky, which you can get either sweet or spicy.
Ooh, spicy.
And there's some drinks there too. At Katie's restaurant,
At my restaurant,
there's
oh boy.
a ton to choose
Dreams
from.
do come true,
So there's
yeah.
smoked, I don't even know how to say it, smoked Kadu ribs,
Yeah.
which looks great. They're basically
Love that.
sticky pork ribs. Yub shrimp noodle salad. That looks good.
I love those words.
The Felucian garden spread, which is only at lunch, which is looks like a hummus salad kind of thing.
It also sounds like something pilots do in formation.
Yep. Braised shack roast is dinner only. That's a beef pot roast. It looks delicious with pasta, kale, and mushrooms. And the Ithorian garden loaf, which looks like a vegetarian meatloaf. I don't know if that is vegan or not. I'm assuming not, looking at this.
I'm more interested in trying that kind of stuff after I've had a couple of really good Impossible Burgers in the recent past.
Yeah.
We love the Impossible Burger.
The only thing I would eat that was straight vegetarian was like the Morningstar sausages for a long time. And then I've had some good examples. So I'm coming around to plant-based things more and more.
I completely agree with you. They've been doing a really fantastic job.
Agreed.
There's also some incredible drinks that we could go on for. Basically every place in this area has drinks that look unique, and they kind of remind me of Lamplight in some respects.
Love it.
So I'm hoping they're a little bit more different, that we're not thinking or comparing this to Lamplight as we go through. But the one thing we won't be comparing to Lamplight is the the blue and green milk, which come in
I
shake
don't know.
form.
They have that lamplight. I ordered one the other day.
So they're plant-based. They're frozen.
They're not.
They're a
dairy.
blend
They're
of
frozen.
coconut and rice milk.
Why are they frozen?
My hunch is it has to do with texture of the coconut and rice milks. I don't know for sure though.
I want that like viscous.
I'm gonna be
Like-
that person in the galaxy that is like, in Star Wars: A New Hope, when Luke Skywalker has a blue milk, it is not frozen, and when he also drank green milk in The Last Jedi, it did not come out of there frozen.
So here's my question on this. Specifically, they mentioned that the reason it's plant based is because the creatures that come from eat plant based things.
Yes,
But
Y'all
so do
ever seen
cows.
cows like what they eat?
yes,
That's,
they don't make sense, and that's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay. I also want to know like why it's eating coconut and rice. Like, why is its diet just coconut and rice?
and not porks.
And not porgs. Eat the porgs. Eat the porgs. Eat the porgs. Don't look at him. Don't look at him.
Everybody else is.
Don't look at him.
I think what Maddie is referring to is that I hear Kitty Bear 13 is hoping for porg on a stick. Jeff just guessed that about a minute ago.
I don't want to eat the porgs.
But like, if they got like some game hens and like fried them, they could make
That
that.
would be so
it would be
fun.
But
so
I want
good.
someone
I
else
would get
to
that.
eat the
It'd be
porgs.
so good.
I
We
just
would-
want the
we would eat
porgs
the
to be
porgs.
And then just but in the background, the corner, just once I hear, like just a little bit.
I love this idea. That would be great. While we are talking about Star Wars, we did get a chance to read the first comic book for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It's very enjoyable.
It is.
I don't think it's that deep, but
No.
it's definitely worth checking out.
But it's fun.
And
Can't
there's
believe Captain Marvel's in Star Wars.
I know, right?
shocking, right? You know, but it's fun, and like I kind of want to read the last four now because
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it just started getting interesting, and I was like, oh, we're done with this one. Now I have to get the next one. So it did its job.
That's how comic books work.
It's true. Well, I just felt like it was shorter than I haven't read comics
This
books
is
in a while.
this is
but-
a very short comic book, but
okay.
the Millennium Falcon was in it, so
The other thing we will be reading soon, and Bailey, you were right on the pre-show, is we do have the D23 magazine here with this gorgeous picture of the Millennium Falcon
She's so
in Star Wars
beautiful.
Galaxy's Edge, which I intend to pilot very soon.
can you
And,
stop? He's really speaking it into existence,
Calling
guys.
dibs.
I can't
on
tell
this
you.
side, Millennium Falcon. On this side, Simba.
I like the other side better.
Zoom.
Simba's
I was
very
actually
cute.
really curious how they were going to pull this off, because when I read the press release that they were going to have both covers, I was like, huh, okay, well, I wonder which one I'm going to get. I hope I get the Star Wars one, and I did. But we got both, and that's fun.
Magic.
And we haven't opened this yet, because it literally just showed up today, so we'll take a look at it. But
She's lovely.
it will be fun as we look ahead to the D23 Expo in August, a weekend of no sleep and lots of adventures. And
A weekend of no
lots
sleep.
of articles. We will be covering as much of it as we
Yeah,
possibly
it'll be
can,
great.
and it will be absolutely fantastic. Moving on to more entertainment news. Today it was announced that Disney took full control of Hulu,
I heard they're calling it Dulu now.
operational control,
Wood on the
and
street.
maybe they should call it Dulu.
No, Hulu is already a weird enough word. We already had this discussion.
Hulu.
So what's the difference? Then you're branding Hulu with the D, and it's Disney Hulu, and it's
Then
Dulu.
it's just
Hulu
It's
apostrophe D. Hulu.
Hulu. It sounds like
What if you just add a D apostrophe Hulu?
Dulu sounds like a planet on Star Wars.
That was my favorite
It's
character,
almost
Black
a,
Panther.
it's almost a
Dulu?
Klingon name. Dulu. I don't know.
Hulu.
Yeah,
We're going everywhere with this, guys.
the House of Dulu.
Your
Is
hair
this
smells
Game of
very nice.
Thrones?
I just got
Oh,
aware of
thank
That
that.
you.
just got
It's
really weird.
mango.
Anyway,
Is it?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And coconut.
Comcast will sell
Put blue
its
milk in your
stake
hair?
in the next 5 years to Disney, and Disney will fully own Hulu. I don't know what Katie's laughing about, but
So it called a callback.
How it got blue!
I made a callback to Blue Milk about coconut. In
job.
reference to her hair.
good job.
It's a point for me.
Oh wow, that was
So now
so
that
funny.
Disney is fully controlling Hulu, what do you think this will do for
We
their
control the
future streaming?
horizontal. Vertical.
I think that they're definitely gonna take advantage of putting the more adult content on Hulu, which was already their plan anyway. But I think that we're going to see it happen more.
It's going to be the 21st century touchstone, in my mind.
Oh, you're right.
Well, and they have some of the more adult not MCU, but they're pursuing some more Marvel things that they don't feel comfortable putting on Disney Plus, so it's all going to Hulu.
Like Deadpool will end up over there.
Probably Deadpool will end up
Yeah,
there.
I think you're totally right. It will be interesting to see as it moves forward and all of these other streaming services kind of pull their TV shows and movies into their own realm. It'll be interesting to see what ends up on Hulu, what ends up on Amazon Prime, which I think has a lot to lose, what ends up on Netflix, which also has a lot to lose, and then what's on Disney Plus, what's on Apple, what's on...
Well, the NBC Universal is going to have a...
Yeah, and they basically hinted strongly today that they'll have The Office on there, and it'll be for free, which will be a hit, I feel like, to Netflix, because that's the number one watch thing, I guess, on Netflix.
They're going to have to really learn to compartment. Like, the thing I was noticing with Amazon Prime is that they've really gotten good at scratching particular itches.
Yep.
And they know that, and I think they're really moving towards that. And I think that's just what the other streaming services have got to learn.
The hard part, though, is there's only so many consumers, and to make it profitable, they're going to have to keep... I mean, there's really the risk of the pendulum effect of swinging back to cable TV, because people are going to be like, well, I don't want... 7 streaming services, and sure, I'll watch a little ads to go back to cable and have them all for a cheaper price than what I'm paying for a streaming service, especially if they go up. If they stay down, like what Disney Plus is talking about, maybe that won't happen.
And that's where Hulu is staged to be very successful, because they already have integration of other cable platforms.
Yeah.
If they offer a Disney Plus addition to Hulu, I mean, that's the end of the game, in my mind. Like, that's a nail in the coffin for Netflix.
Yeah, well, and it's weird to be thinking of Apple just getting into the game, and they're going to have some solid programming, but they may not be able to get the momentum and the critical mass going if Disney really nails this right off the bat. What do you think it's going to change for programming wise, if anything, for Hulu?
I think the only thing we're going to see is NBC Universal.
Pulling back.
They have the option to start pulling back as soon as next year or in 2 years. I think they're going to the second they can not be directing programming to Hulu anymore.
Yep.
And I think that that's just nature, because they also want to save some of that for their streaming service, but they also, I think that the second they have an out, they're going to take it.
Cameron?
Seconded.
Yeah, I think you're right too. It will be interesting to see, though, as you get CBS. I guess ABC would be with Hulu, and Disney Plus, NBC, all of these other streaming services, if they oversaturate with too many, and if some of them fall by the wayside, or if they get pulled into something else, it's a competing streaming service that pulls them, a new Hulu kind of a thing. Because that really...
Well, that's already happened. You think about how many dozens of streaming services have been. CISO is a great example of this. This was the streaming service for... Was it an early NBC one? CISO had a lot of really good original programming, but because they were a little late to the game, they're already gone.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. And, I mean, because CBS All Access is doing fairly decently. However, if there gets to be too many, are they going to have to start partnering up with Netflix or with
well, they're already partnering
internationally.
I mean, because you look at like they're streaming on Amazon Prime for the new Jean-Luc Picard series.
I know, I saw that.
And everything except domestically still CBS All Access. So they're still gatekeeping a little bit on that.
But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. All right, we're running out of time.
You should go to thegeekscorner.com if you're not there already watching us now. We have a lot more videos there. A lot more. Like, a lot more.
You should adaptmagic.com. Check out all the Disney and geek news as it happens. Subscribe to our mailing list and find our Patreon.
And while you're at it, subscribe to this YouTube channel, because we are posting videos as often as we possibly can. We're going to have some more coming up in the next month that will be absolutely fantastic. In fact, we're going to have a new one this coming week that you're probably going to love. And I'm just going to tease. Murray and I are going to Knott's Berry Farm on Thursday night for the opening of the new Calico Rapids attraction. And they will be doing a POV ride-through video of Murray and I going on this attraction, which I assume will be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You remember, you could see on our YouTube channel Katie and Murray going on Hang Time. Very fun.
No.
Now just imagine instead of giant drops, you have giant
Water.
deluges of water. Yeah.
Yes.
So we will see what happens with that. But that is all the time we have for you this week. So we will see you around the corner.
Bye.